Hi, this is Mary Kay. Today I'm painting this snow scene. I'm not going to use any tracing paper to trace it. I'm just going to put my horizon line in with a pencil. So I have it, I can see that it goes back about here and ends about here, right about halfway on this side, but drops down. I don't want the center, the lowest part exactly smack in the center, but just a little off, and then up to this side. That's my whole drawing. And now I'm going to start with the sky. I'm going to wet the sky just with water. Down to my horizon line. I see a lot of cerulean. I also see a little bit of warmth in this part of the sky, not just paper. And the way that I'm going to put this warmth in is with burnt sienna. So a little bit of clean burnt sienna, watered down, and just put that into the sky first. I know it seems crazy, but I think it's going to really give us that warm winter light. And now I'm going to go, I think that looks like cerulean. You could use cerulean or Antwerp. That looks beautiful. I'll try a little Antwerp in it and see what it does. Oh, I had a little French too. Okay, so this is, okay, I'm going to make sure that it's goes up into that corner. And I'm definitely missing some areas. I'm not painting every little spot. I don't know what that is. I'm pick it up with my brush. And then so this area in my sky is going to have that little brown tint to it. While my sky is partially drying, I want you to notice, I'm going to put in, this next thing I'm going to do is put in this background trees that are along this horizon line. I want you to notice the height of them. These go all the way out the top. These are small here. There's breaks, very pale back here. And notice that the tops of the trees around this light brown area are very light and actually have a little bit of brown in them. So I'm going to start over here and start putting these trees in. The color, you know, there's really not that much green in them. I'm going to use French ultramarine blue and some indigo. Oh yeah, oh, that's some intense color there. I'm going to put that burnt sienna into it, and it is going to give it the tiniest bit of green because indigo and burnt sienna will give you a very, very dark green. So you don't really, I don't really see it coming up now. The Antwerp will definitely give some of it. Okay, so there's a tiny bit of green to this. My sky is still very wet. My brush is loaded with a lot of pigment and water, really. So what I'm going to do is touch my paper towel and take out some of the water. I'm just going to touch here. I'm just kind of testing this. I'm liking how it looks. So I'm going to go all the way up out the paper. Now remember that this is going to mat in about a good ½ an inch. So I don't want my tallest tree to be right on the edge because it'll mat out. So I want my tallest tree that goes out the top, right about here. It's blurring into the background. It's getting soft. I love that. And I'm using the corner of the brush now to just put those little branches in, but they're blurring. There's another tree here that goes out. This one will mat out and just sort of be kind of hiding. It'll just basically darken this side. So I'll put that one in. Now I'm going to come in here. I'm putting in these trees into the wet sky. That's why it's so soft. It's softening. One of the things you have to be careful about is that you don't want every tree exactly the same distance apart. So if I make these all exactly the same distance apart, this next tree is going to be right here. So I don't want it right there. I want to move it either further or closer. I'm loving how this is going into the wet. It's a little soft. And different heights. So that's low. I'm going to do these are just suggestions of trees, the way that they're blurring. This flat brush makes a beautiful point. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. Now they're getting even smaller here. I can start spreading them out a little bit. Leave a space. I'm over to here now. These are very, oh, I should have started over here because these are, should have been the blurriest, the softest. That's okay. So what I did to fix that was I just got a little water, touched my paper towel. So now I have a lot less pigment in my brush. So that's why these are softer. We can't even see these over here. They're going to be hidden by that big tree. Oh, I did it here. I did exactly the same distances apart. So what I need to do is put one here. So now they're all different distances apart. Here we're not going to be able to see them, so I'm just going to throw a little bit of color down there. At the tops of these trees in here is burnt sienna. So I'm going to go back into this, watered down, touch my paper towel, and just make the tops of my trees with that burnt sienna because the light is shining through there. Oh, the big blob. Ha! Another big blob. Let me get a nice point on my brush. Now I have a very tall tree there. I can even just put some of those in. This, I think, has a little bit of burnt sienna too, closest to this spot, the light spot. See, every time I make a mistake, I get a little fatter tree, then I got to fix it and go higher. It's kind of like trying to make a lighthouse. I think that's a good background there. I like that the brown's on the tops of these trees and they're soft and they're going back. There's not a lot of detail, but you can see through them. I like all that part. I like that the sky has some lights. What I'm going to do right now is get ready to put these trees in. So I need to put a little bit of color into my snow. So that's my next step, is I'm going to paint the snow on this bottom part. And then I'll put in these trees. And I'll show you the tricks that were for planting trees and bushes. So I'm going to wet my bottom now. There's a little bit of that paint in my brush still, so you can see where I'm putting in the water. There's not going to be any like perfectly white paint, white snow. It's all going to have some shadow. And I'm seeing cerulean or manganese blue right in this area. I'm seeing some French. I almost see some violets. So if you want to put a little permanent rose into your paints, you could, although there isn't any in the sky or the trees. I'm just going to start over here because I want this to be not so much indigo and more, let's start with Antwerp. Let's see what that does. Oh, that's not right. Let's try again. Let's try some cerulean. All right, I like that. I like that. There's my manganese. I like that even better. Okay, so I'm gonna have this. I'm gonna go ahead and just start with this color, knowing that I'm gonna put some others over it. I'm darkening my corners, not super dark, but I have to make sure I have paint on the corners. And then this is going up to here. I didn't get that very wet, or it dried really fast. I'm going to put a little bit of French into that blue and a tiny bit of my indigo into it. A little more indigo. Okay, that's good. Now I'm gonna, oh, kind of like it. And over here, darken this. Now this is a good place to sign my name. I have a little light white paper here. I didn't want to get clear to the trees. I'm just going to leave it. So I think this is a good place to sign my name because it's going to be this dark corner. So I use this bamboo that I cut and then I whittled. And I just sign my name like this is a pencil, and I'm writing into the wet paint, Mary Kay Jolly, S period, and then I make a little C with a circle around it, meaning that I have the copyright on this image. Kind of tempted just to put those footprints in. What brush do I want to use? They're blurry this way. Okay, my round. I call this a museum brush because I buy it at a museum. But they're made in Marin. They're around 10 and they're very nice brushes. So let's try. So they're definitely bigger in front and then they just get softer as they go away. And they kind of look like they're going that way. It's like, I think more than one person walked down this little trail. It's like there's two sets of footprints. I'll dip my brush in the water and dry it so that this is, well, it didn't rinse out that much. So this is softer as it goes back, softer and smaller, and they sort of bend around, going over here together, like behind that. I'm going to leave those. Now I'm going to take a piece of masking tape and I'm going to mask this area right here. So it's about an inch below the horizon line. And I'm going to start to paint these trees. So I'm painting these big trees that go all the way, this one goes all the way out. It's the same colors. It's going to be the same colors throughout this. So that's indigo, French, some Antwerp, and then the burnt sienna at the very top. In fact, I think I'll just start with that burnt sienna at the very top here. I'm painting this area up here. I don't know if you can see it on the video. So the top of this tree, okay, so I want to move it over a little bit because I don't want it to mat out. So this is going to be where my main part of my tree is. It's dry now, so I need to make sure that I'm softening this with water, not letting it blur into the sky. I'm just using this brush and I'm making a few. Blot that a little bit so it's even softer. Coming down. Now I'm going to go into these darks. I don't really even have a trunk. You could also use your a flat brush for this. So I'm going to make this blend up into the browns here. I have this brown limb going out there. My bottom has to go at least out to that brown, that farthest limb there. So this tree is getting bigger because of that one tiny little mistake. I want to put some of that cerulean right in here. There's a lot of colors in this. I don't want any of these little trees to show through in here. Just want to... Okay, now I'm going to put another tree here. I think I need to move my tape over or get a new piece. Make it a little longer. So... Okay, so I'm putting this tree in now. Again, I'm going to start with the burnt sienna at the top. It's going to be a lot of water. Very, very pale paint at the top here. I'm going to put it about right here. I'm shaking. That's going to cover that tree too perfectly. I like those little guys showing. I think I'll start it right here. It doesn't go all the way to the top. This is the tippy top. That's that beautiful burnt sienna. I love burnt sienna. I think it's so beautiful. And it's going to go all the way down to this tape. Okay, so now I'll get back into those darks down here. Okay, some more blues, some French in there. Better put some French over here if I'm going to have it there. And here. And now my cerulean or my manganese mixture. So this is without the snow. We'll put the snow on last. Okay. So when I pull this tape up, you're going to see that they look like it's a snowbank right there. I do like these shadows that are below the tree, and I'm going to put those in with the manganese and cerulean. If I touch it, I think it's going to blur, which might be really nice. Little blur in there. I'm going to just soften the edges of this with water. I think maybe this tree right here needs to be a little darker. I'm going to repaint it, just go over the top of it, because I think when it gets snow on it, these two are very dark. In fact, I want to make this one a little darker down here. So I'm gonna put this tree in front by giving it another layer, making it a little darker. Goes all the way out the page. Now, if I had started over here with my trees, these would have just been just right when we got here. Maybe a little more on these too, just a little more. I like the softness, but just need them to be a little closer to us, a little more defined. Okay. Now the next thing I'm going to do, I actually like that kind of ran in there. The next thing that I'm going to do is put another piece of tape right in here, and I'm going to make these brown twigs coming out of the snow. So I've got a piece of masking tape. And I press it down onto my paper. And I need to get some burnt sienna and indigo, I think, together, and make some messy little twigs. So I'm going to mix all these colors together. And get this kind of blackish brown there. That's the colors that I've used. I'm not adding new colors. Once you have to have the same colors throughout your whole painting. You can't just add colors in a spot. These are all the same ones I've used. I'm going to try this. I haven't used this in my Wednesday classes very much, but it's a palette knife. I'm going to try some different techniques. And you scrape the paint up onto the knife and you hold it here. I'm just going to see if this works. Oh, one of the really nice things that this does is it's always makes wild little funny marks. You can't do a nice straight line, so that's what's so good about it. So it really takes away your like perfect little brush strokes that you want to do. That's a thick one. Kind of did that on purpose because over here was like the thicker part. Again, now I've managed to do it. They're all exactly the same distance apart. So I have to go in and put some closer and some farther away on these little twigs here. So those two are close, and there's a distance apart there. If you don't have a palette knife, another thing that you can use is a cut up credit card. Let's see how it works. Oh yeah, it works just as well. But I've had palette knife on a lot of lists for a long time and we hardly ever use it. So I thought it might be a nice spot to put a little bird there. You could put a little cardinal there and then turn it into a Christmas card. This here is bugging me, that big fat blunk there. Okay, let me see. Now I think what I'm going to do here, no, I'm not. I was going to put like a dark shadow back there, but I can't now or the brown will all blur into it. So, oh, see, so that's what happens. It makes it look like they're just coming out of a snowbank right there. And then again, you can just add a little shadow in the front if you want to your snowbank. I'm going to make these just go a little bit back here more and hide behind there. Okay, so I'm really liking this. We could have a few little splotches over here. That snow's like too perfect over here. Just some splotches. Could have some here. And now it's time to add the snow. This paint is called Dr. P.H. Martin's Bleed Proof White. And I haven't found a better white. I've used it a lot, so I'm kind of down at the bottom of this. I'm just using this brush here. I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to paint my snow on. My little blobs at the tops of these branches. Putting little blobs of paint. Now we should be able to, not see through these. The paint should. And the other thing I can do is just splatter it. I like that a lot. I like the splattering, especially up here. And if it's two little spots, I'll just touch it with my finger and spread it out. This guy. Just on the tops of the branches. More splattering. It's going all over. I love that. Oh, now I have blue in the sky. Oops, I wish I hadn't done that. Over here, same. Just using the side of my brush. Put those little blobs of snow on. You have to be able to see the branches underneath, the darks underneath. All of them have this. Let's see, if we just splatter, can we? Oh, that was good splattering. And I'll just sort up too much. Finger painting. Ah, 64 years old and I'm finger painting. Love that. Oh, we could put lots of splatters here on these bushes to make it look like they're in the snow too. The only thing I regret right now is that I managed to put some blue paint right in there, in that beautiful part of my sky. So I'm going to try to take a clean brush and just see if I can lift it up. If that's indigo, it's not going to lift because it's so permanent. I'm just, oh, it came up a little bit. I'm going to leave. Just put like little tree shapes, little softer tree shapes in there. Oh, you know what? I think I'm done. Oh, this part looks, oh no, I don't mind that. I mind this is pretty blobby. Oh, that's okay. Nobody's gonna look at that part of the painting anyway. I'll just, there we go. This is my paper towel. Wipe a little bit of that up. Okay, that's one way to do it. You know what? I think I'll quit. Super fun painting.